Hello everyone and welcome to the next episode for the Recipe to Success. This is episode 9 of season 2 and I'm really looking forward to this one because I think it's very, very important. Not only we're going to talk about business and career, but we're also going to talk about social stuff as well and stuff that you really should, well, I've not actually done this, but James on my right has done this, and taking a career break, going experiencing different cultures, different countries, different continents, and delving into that side as well. So not only focusing on business, but also how you can really succeed as much as possible in your personal life as well as business as well. So without further ado, James, how are we doing?
All right, how are you?
It feels a little bit weird because like everyone that I ever speak to is like, I know them.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know them, whereas I know you very well.
Yeah, we know each other a good few years.
So we're usually it's over a beer or a coffee that we're actually chatting, but now we've got a camera here and microphones here.
Yeah, it's different, it's fun.
Yeah, so
it's fun.
How's things?
Good, yeah. Like everybody else, I've been doing the working from home for nearly 5 months now.
Yeah.
We've just started going back into the office a couple of days a week for a few hours kind of thing. It's not bad. It's still quiet, so when you go in there, it hasn't really got that sense of workplace like it used to at the moment.
Yeah.
They're still only keeping us to sort of 30%. So it's okay, and being working from home like most people, you have productive times, then you have down times, then your mind disappears into a rabbit hole of thoughts, and you have to pull yourself back out of it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think you've either gone one or two ways. You've either got ridiculous willpower now just to like see out that time, or you've suffered. And I was the same. I think when lockdown first happened, I would sit there and I'd go, okay, it's 12 o'clock now. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to have lunch.
Yeah.
Like in my normal working day, I'm like, right, I'm in the car, I'm on the way to my next meeting, and I'm eating my lunch on the go.
Yeah.
Whereas you just find time for it.
But then you try and create a routine as well, so you're not just procrastinating.
Yeah.
You're not just saying, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do some housework, I'll feed the animals or something like that. And next thing you know, you're like, okay, I've wasted an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's making yourself a little bit regimented. Still getting yourself up at 6:30, still making sure you're actually working around 7:30, 8.
Yeah.
And then by sort of 5 o'clock, you think, okay, now I've done my job, I've done what I should do. But then also, I think one of the other ways to look at it isn't so good is you never kind of get away from the work because your laptop's 2 meters away from you, your phone's always there.
Yeah.
You're watching TV and you think, you know what, I can sit on my emails whilst I'm watching the football and just get it done. So sometimes you don't completely switch off because you're always readily available.
Yeah.
Whereas I think when you left the office, your mindset was, I've left the office.
Yeah.
I left the office, the laptop is down, I'm not going to look at things again, I'll see you tomorrow morning. So those things are kind of a bit lost at the moment.
Yeah, it's a happy medium really, isn't it? Because I think sometimes, like for instance, I suppose our roles are quite different because obviously, I mean, we'll go on to this in a bit. Everyone's going to be thinking, what does James actually do?
And nothing that exciting, yeah.
We'll come into it. Mate, you play an integral part in what we do. So tell us about your daily routine. How's your daily routine?
Daily routine, normally it will be up reasonably early, 6ish, and that's either by alarm clock or a cat meowing at the door to be fed. So the cat will get kicked and then fed. And then it'll be to the gym normally, go to the gym, do about an hour there. I take my girlfriend and then pick her up on the way back. Home, breakfast and emails, whatever meetings then you've got during the day. Most of them are online at the moment. But slowly getting back out there. Like yesterday, I was in charge of half the day. So I was there visiting sites and things. So it was nice to be out and about. And then close the day off. Check anything else got to do, follow anything urgent, maybe try and note some things down to be urgent stuff to do the next day. And then, relax. See what there is. Try and get out of the house a couple of times a week in the evenings just to give a break. I appreciate the weather's not nice, but still, even if it's just to drive somewhere, go down to La Mer, go down to Blue Waters, just a little bit of open space, a little bit of greenery, a little bit of sea, break out that monotony of looking at 4 walls.
Yeah, definitely. And that's where I really suffered from the first 4 weeks because I literally just got I was going crazy.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people were, especially if you live by yourself. I think a lot of people, and I think people who don't live by themselves probably didn't realize how tough it was. I spoke to a good friend of mine, and he's got a wife and 2 kids, but his wife then flew back to Russia, and he was on his own for about 4 or 5 weeks. And he said, like, the first week was great, he was like, brilliant, I can do what I want. Then he started to be like, it's quite quiet.
Yeah.
Then he's like, God, it's boring. I'm bored. So then he kind of picked up the phone to a couple of his other friends who had been in lockdown on their own. And he said, how have you done this? And he said, I'm so bored. I'm a bit lonely. He's just like, and then they said, yeah, this is how it's been for us for 3-4 months. So, and he said it made him feel guilty that he hadn't reached out to people over that time to be like, how are you? Are you okay? A quick 5-minute phone call changed someone's day, whereas they've been sat there and they might have had any human contact for 2 or 3 days. Like, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
I actually spoke about this on a previous podcast, and I remember I was on a weekend, and I think it was like a Friday afternoon, and I was obviously not saying anything, but my brain was talking to myself. And my brain just basically went, Danny, it's 3:00 in the afternoon and you've not said a word. I'd literally not spoken.
Yeah. Easy.
I'd not spoken because I'd woke up, I'd gone to work out or whatever it was, and obviously in the gyms you say hello to people, but when there's no gyms you don't say hello to anyone.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God,
I'm not spoken to anybody.
I've literally not opened my mouth, my voice, and thankfully the line of work that we're in, we was able to go out and go to the sites and actually go back to work quite a bit. But let's go back onto you then. So you actually started a new job.
Yes.
A couple of weeks before COVID?
I was, so I work for Do Telecom, so I do the real estate for them, pretty much any commercial space, retail space, data centers, anything real estate. It's like a holistic view that we kind of sit on top of and keep track of. But so I started a new job. I was with EMAR, left EMAR, moved to Do, 6 weeks in the office, whole of COVID happens, and literally, okay, that's it. On a Wednesday, we're working from home and we'll see you when you see you. And I think for the first 2 weeks, everyone was a little bit, and we have to admit, it was like, well, this is great. This is kind of like...
Yeah, because we didn't know what the timescale would be.
No, we thought it would be this. So it was a little bit, we'll kick back, we'll put our feet up a bit, half do your stuff is what people thought. You could tell stuff wasn't happening. People were like, well, maybe I've got a bit of free holiday here. And then reality kind of kicked in like 3-4 weeks, like, we're in for the long haul. And that was 5 months ago. And it's going good. Like, I've literally got to know the team and the business over Skype, over Teams, over WebEx. That's how I've learned my job, how I've learned my team, how I've made sort of the relationships with people within Do, within Virgin Mobile, within the landlords and things that we deal with. I already had quite a lot of those contacts anyway outside of Do. But again, it's difficult to build bridges when you're not doing it face to face. Yeah. As I'm sure you'll know, it's much easier and much better to go and see someone firsthand. You can get the body language, you can work them out, you try and find some similarities to try and break the ice a bit.
I can categorically say I've never closed a deal where I've not met someone.
I'm sure. If you want to buy a car, you're not going to do it over Skype. You want to go and look at it, you want to kick the tires, you want to get a sense of who's selling it to you. You can't do that unless you physically go there. Yeah. And that's the same for most businesses. You've got the call centers and you've got everything like that. And I think we all know it's a little bit soulless at times. That personal interaction is needed. Human beings are a social species anyway, fundamentally we are. So to take that away and expect people to be as productive with 17 people on a screen, everybody's half interested, some people are being muted, some people are just constantly picking their nose, it's not going to be the same as sat around exchanging ideas.
Yeah, I was in a meeting yesterday, and we have a weekly meeting with the kind of management team. And as soon as it's not my part, I'm like, camera off, microphone off, and I'll just go off and do my work,
Yeah, and so people do, they get camera off, and next thing you know, they're like scrolling through Facebook, they're scrolling through Instagram, and now and again they kind of...
I was actually doing work. My boss might listen to this.
Sure. You need to.
Warren, I promise I was doing work.
But invaluable tool. But it's also shown a lot of companies that they don't need to be in an office to be as productive. You can leave people, they are pretty good. They don't need to be beaten with a stick to get stuff done. If you can just get that happy medium, which I think a lot of companies are going to strive to do now, is you can be mobile, you can work from home to a degree. If you're in the office, brilliant, we did it recently, we had like a 4 or 5 hour workshop and we got so much done because we knew we were in there with a purpose to get something finished. We exchanged ideas, we documented it all, and then we were done. Whereas I suppose you doing that back and forth over the internet and stuff, it isn't the same.
Has there been any realization that you don't need as many people as well? Have they made any reductions?
Not really, no.
I suppose
Do is a bit more fortunate, I think, because they still get a revenue stream.
I was going to say, if you're a business, COVID, if you're going to pick a business, do is going to be.
Like, everybody's been hit.
Everyone's been hit.
Everybody's
but
been
if
hit.
you would pick a business that's still going to generate revenue, like, you know, and again, I suppose it's not even down to the fact of, people might say, oh, well, you're lucky to be in that industry. Well, not really, because what you've done is you've diversified. So you have different disciplines to your business, which then counteract when the tough times come.
Yeah, exactly. People think, oh, you can't be affected. Well, people aren't outside. People are no longer moving around the city like they used to. 90% of the people were indoors, just using Wi-Fi. Before, everyone was out using data. You know, that's a huge shift in the daily patterns.
Yeah.
Granted, yet we're not hospitality, we're not aviation, we're not retail. Like, they've been really hit.
Yeah.
They're really hit. And you speak to people in those industries, and it's not a nice conversation to be had with them.
Yeah.
I spoke to a landlord only yesterday, and he was saying, you know, all he's been doing in the last 2-3 months is just fielding tenants coming forward saying, I need support, I need support, I need support, I need support. And he's there going, yes, of course, I understand that. But then unfortunately, he has seen it where people have come forward to him and they're using this situation just to get something. And he said, look, I know you're essentially a big group. You've got multiple sites, multiple outlets. Why do I need to give you as much support as this guy's got one store? If I have to give it to you and all your stores, I take away from these companies who could essentially go under. And he said, I'm trying to find that balance to be supportive, but not hamstring myself. And also, unfortunately, he goes, he can see some people trying to take a bit of advantage of it, going, oh, give me my rent free for the next 6 months. Give me anything you got. And think, okay, I'm a business as well. I have my costs as well. I'm not here just to underpin you.
Yeah.
And he's trying to see it from both sides, and that's tough.
Yeah, that definitely. I mean, I think as well, you know, a lot of people are going against landlords and against, you know, different types of business. I mean, I've seen a lot of going away from the subject slightly, like a lot of people rebelling against food aggregators.
Yeah, the ones who started up all these hospitality and restaurants who literally started their own platform.
Yeah. Because
they were fed up of paying 20-30% of every order to.
Yeah. But if you're a business, can you afford to, you know,
not beyond that?
I mean, exactly. But the thing is, if you're a burger shop, an independent burger shop, can you really afford to put all your marketing down Shakeside Road like some of the aggregators have?
No, you have to do it. You have to you throw yourself in there.
Exactly. So it's almost like cross-brand promotion. So I think, you know, these brands that are like kicking off, they kind of need to just see the value in the fact of the reach.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm paying, but okay, if I pull away from this, am I still going to get that much reach? You know, and the answer's most likely going to be
most likely
no.
Isn't no, unless you somehow get you get lucky, for want of a better word, and strike it gold, and you get an amazing name for yourself. Yeah, but essentially, as you said, you need to be in that dogfight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to be in it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I had a podcast with the last podcast before this one actually. You know, I spoke to the guy, and he grew up in Dubai, and you know, he was like, I prepared myself for something to happen.
Yeah.
He was like, I was here for 2008, 2009 when the financial crash happened.
Yeah.
And he said, I knew sooner or later something would happen.
Something would go pop.
So a lot,
at some point.
I think, I mean, I'm not going to say all the wise business owners.
No, you can't.
But a lot of business owners would have, you know, prepared for some sort of, you know, because it's basically a reset button, isn't it?
It's a reset. Yeah, it's a complete reset at the moment. I think everyone's scrambling around to figure it out.
The economy's reset, and then I'm sure we're going to look back on this in 5 years' time, and the economy is going to be stronger than it's ever been.
Stronger than it's ever been. Dubai is super well placed. We're very fortunate. It does have incredible reserves at its disposal, which is, compared to other countries, it's very fortunate. It's been incredibly well managed, this whole situation. Like, you look at other countries compared to here, you have to take your hat off to
Mate, I'm embarrassed of the UK.
Yeah, I think most people are. I think most people are from there.
It's like, I get these situations, you know, for instance, I can kind of probably say when you're under pressure at work, my boss always says, I like to see how people work under pressure.
Yeah.
And right now, you're looking at most governments going, right, you're working under pressure.
Yeah, it's scrambling.
And you don't have a clue.
Yeah,
You've got no plan.
Scrambling. And I think also here's this big expat society.
Yeah.
We listen to what the government instructs us to do.
Yeah.
You know, if they say you stay in, you do this, you do that, 99% of people will say, done. I'm not going to question it. Other countries, especially Brits, we like to think we know better. We do. It's inbuilt into us.
Someone
says don't push that button. A few Brits will be like, what? no one will notice if I just see what it does.
Do you know what? I'm going to name and shame this person because he's a friend of mine in the UK, and he probably won't even listen to this. One of my mates, a guy called Jamal from back home, he's big on social media. He loves a story, loves to put his opinion across. And I remember watching a video on his story, and he was kicking off about wearing a mask. He's like, "Oh my God, I've forgot my mask. Now I've got to go to my car, get my mask, put it on, and go to the shop." And I just messaged him saying, "Put your effing mask on."
Yeah.
I've been doing it for 4 months, mate.
Yeah.
It's not difficult.
It's not difficult.
And what you're doing is, what people don't realise is, and again, I struggle to believe how the UK used to conquer so many countries, because I would say 80% of our population is, it's going to sound strong, but
I get what you say. You might offend a lot
idiots,
of people.
mate. Idiots. And I've only realised that since I came out. And then when I go back, I'm like, wow.
It is wow.
The way some of the
you
people think there is just
you do
phenomenal.
think, wow. You just think, I know better. It's my right to do this. It's my right to do
Yeah.
that. If someone's telling you for their own benefit and the benefit of the wider population to not do something,
Yeah.
why do you then go against it and think, okay, if someone says you just stick a mask on to go to the supermarket, it's not going to do you any harm. It's 20 minutes of your life wearing a mask, and you can get back and you can't go home.
Exactly.
It's not going to do anything to you, but you just say, it's my right, it's my right. Okay, it is. But they're not asking you to do something that is unheard of.
Yeah.
It's...
And I think as well, one thing that the countries can take advice from, especially or take from the UAE, is all the testing that's happening.
Yeah, it's super hot in there.
All the borders. It doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, the goal is we want to get this out of the system.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously
everyone wants to get back to work. Everyone wants to get back to normality.
Yeah.
We want the tourists to come flooding back. That's what everyone wants.
Exactly. And what they're doing here is fantastic, because in the last 2 weeks I've had 2 tests because I've had to go X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And I think every country, people are reluctant to travel. Now the aviation, like you said, the industry is absolutely screwed right now. So how do you get people traveling? Okay, so you get people traveling to make them feel safe. How do you make them feel safe? By making sure everyone gets tested. So 48 hours before you fly, got to get a test. When you land, got to be tested. Whatever country you're going to, you have to pay for a test.
It's building that confidence again.
And what it does as well, I know it sounds, but I was calculating, right, the population and how many people,
6 million tests.
350 dirhams a pop.
Yeah.
6 million, how much money is that?
That's
Billions, we're talking, billions. So surely, to get money back into the system, why is it not? I don't get why. My mate's just gone back to the UK yesterday. He's like, you just land and go straight through. It's like, no test, no, nothing, don't even ask you.
Yeah, it's strange. When people say that you do all these things, then when you land in the UK, they're like, come in.
Yeah, but you got to go in quarantine for 14 days.
People say they're doing this. Are they really?
No, of course not. I suppose it's difficult as well. What's the population of a London alone? It's huge.
14 mil, I think.
Exactly. How can you make sure that all these people...
No, it's possible.
So anyway, tangent. But yeah, so in terms of... Because before you worked more on the landlord side.
Yeah.
How's that transition been from landlord to client?
I've done it a couple of times. I think I've been Middle East 15 years. I did Kuwait and Bahrain before I came to the UAE. So I've now done nearly 12 years, which is crazy.
Wow.
A long time.
In the UAE?
Yeah,
alone?
12 years UAE now.
Wow.
Yeah. I worked for HSBC, so I was on that side of the table, very much looking after their real estate in the UAE and the Middle East. Then I went landlord side with an Abu Dhabi developer. Then I stayed landlord side for a couple of times with Alpha Team and then EMA, and now I've gone back across the table to essentially the tenant side. You get to see both sides of it. I think the landlord side, you're very much focused on, you have assets. You need the assets to be productive. The retail side of things was interesting. It's good to try and build physical retail assets, create a tenancy mix, create places that people want to come and spend time where they spend their money, bringing new brands to the region. Dubai has got an unbelievable saturation of brands. I think the last stat I saw was around 56% of brands are represented in Dubai.
Yeah.
I think there's only New York and Tokyo that's better than that. So it shows you this place is literally the mecca for shopping.
Yeah.
We all know there's shopping malls on every street corner, but the brand saturation here is incredible.
It is the mecca for shopping. I agree with that, because what you can get and the places you can go. but I find the offerings are horrific. You go into like a...
In what way? What, the shops?
Okay, so let's do it as an example,
Because the malls are probably up there with the best in the world.
Oh, the malls, 100%. Yeah. I'm not doubting that, but what I'm talking about is the actual products you can buy inside the store. Yeah. So let's talk clothing, for instance.
All right.
You know, how many times have you walked into a high street brand and gone, like, this is not like Oxford Street?
No, the difficulty I think here is, as you said, is you get a great selection of brands, but I think a lot of people want to see a different point, a different offering.
Yeah.
You know, an independent label, a brand they necessarily haven't heard of. You know, like American Rag do a good job in Dubai Mall because they create and bring like 30, 40, 50, 60 different brands that people haven't heard of, or they might have heard of, but they just give them a small presence in there. You know, you need your high street brands. You need that to drive the footfall because everyone needs the necessities. But I think what you're trying to get to is your Covent Garden, your Camdens, you know, the side streets of Melbourne, like they have cool, quirky little boutique stores.
But it's not just that as well. I mean, like even again, the big high street brands that you go back into Europe, for instance, like you know, I'll spend so much money when I go back home because there's just there's clothes.
But they can turn it over a lot quicker than they can here. You know, the distribution network there, it's far easier to turn over and change the stock than than it is here. You know, the companies here, the franchisees and the distributors will buy bulk, and then they'll have to distribute that around. They can't readily change it. I think I asked, was it Zara? I think they said that they always change collections twice a week. Twice a week, they're changing collections.
Here?
Yeah. Hey, you try and think about how much that is to keep turning over and putting new stuff in. So you imagine that in the UK, no wonder you go there and you think there's so much more selection. Yeah, because it's so much easier. You're not bringing it in by boat. You're not bringing it in by plane.
Yeah.
You can much more readily switch over what you've got, so you get a better offering.
Yeah.
If you go to a sneaker shop here, the selection's good. You go to a sneaker shop in London,
it's insane.
You're blown away.
Insane,
You're blown away. And you're like, I want that one. And then when you come back here and you're like, oh, I can't really find it. Then you end up to go to somewhere like Harvey Nicks. You go, these are cool. Then you go, 2,000 dirhams.
Yeah. Mate, I tell you what, when they did the sale in level shoes, mate, I may as well have just invested in the business because I spent so much money.
Yeah, some cool stuff in there.
It was really good. But it was funny. It's funny actually, because obviously when you think about the style or the way people shop in this region as well, I had a meeting with the guys from All Saints recently, and they said literally, Mall of Emirates has been great. I think they're looking at expanding a few more in the UAE.
Yeah.
But he said, Kuwait, we thought it was going to take off, and it just hasn't.
Really?
And it's quite funny, isn't it? How you think like individual countries and how they shop, and you know, you always think. I mean, I personally think, you know, the brands that I like, I just automatically assume other people like. But it isn't that way, is it? I suppose. And I suppose that's the difference here, because obviously in the UK you've got a lot of British people and a lot of Europeans.
But also there, again, it's a bit of a cultural thing. In the UK, people are much happier to be extravagant, extrovert, really just like, I don't care, I'm going to wear what I want.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who you can go and wear some funky outfits, and you'll be sat in a bar or a pub or a restaurant and be someone else in an equally funky outfit.
Yeah.
You do that here, and you'll get everyone standing and look at you going, well, I'm in my khaki trousers and my blue shirt.
Yeah.
What are you wearing? Kind of thing like that. I think, you know, it takes people, like, I remember went to Seoul DXB, and like, I was like mind blown. I was like, I literally feel like the geography teacher here, like the outfits and the wackiness is amazing to see.
Geography.
Yeah, literally, I'm like geography teacher on tour here compared to the people there.
Yeah.
And it was awesome to see. It was literally like, it was like walking through Camden.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and no one batted an eyelid what they were wearing.
And
cool outfits.
That is good. I mean, we've just built a project up at Port, me and Rashid, and you know, we had a look around, and they're actually doing like skate parks there now. They're really developing it. So you are gonna start getting areas.
Getting it. I think that one limitation we have here is the population. You know, it's still small. You know, the city is growing. We're 7 million UAE. You know, that's essentially still quite a small place.
Very small.
Take out the expat population, take out those who don't necessarily have the income level to go and buy all these brands and do all these things that you said they're built for. You're left with a finite population to actually fund this and make everything successful. You know, you're talking about states in America will have 30, 40 million people in a state.
Yeah.
We're 7 million in a country. of that is 70% expats, something like that, I think it was.
Yeah, and it's phenomenal what they have done, because like you say, when you break it down into the populations of states and cities and stuff, but yet Dubai is like, so many famous people know about Dubai.
Love
and
it.
It's such a small place.
Way above its weight.
Yeah.
Way above. It's a global city. You know, when you see, I always remember going to see the movies, and it took a while. I think it was like 5-6 years ago. And I remember at the start of it, it was like London, New York, Sydney, Dubai. And you're like, whoa, look, we're there. You know, we're finally, everyone goes, look, it's one of the global cities now.
And I think as well, the COVID situation, what they've done is even propelled them even more into kind of the limelight, because all this, I mean, like you look at New York, apparently they were going back into lockdown soon. Obviously, you've got places in Australia, London's a mess.
And controlling 20 million people in New York to controlling 6 million. You know, that's a very different game.
Yeah.
Very different.
And I've already seen, like, you know, from social media and scrolling through, like, celebrities actually coming back to Dubai now because it's a safe place to be. And Will Smith even said, he was like, my 2 favorite places on earth, Miami and Dubai.
Yeah, that's good.
But what I really want to know is, what's your aspirations in life? Because I can't imagine a 13-year-old James Poole going, I want to lease spaces for a living.
I don't think so, no. I don't think he did. I think the 13-year-old James Poole either wanted to be a vet or a fireman from memory.
A vet?
I think so. I grew up on a farm, so no, it was always
nice.
around animals. I think it was a vet.
Yeah.
I think so. And then someone said you had to do 7 years of university, and I was like, 7 years after school? I was like, you do 10 years of school, you don't want to do another 7 years of studying after that.
No wonder they get paid so much, mate, because they've got to make up for the...
They don't start earning any money till they're 30.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. So that fell by the wayside. So I got into real estate because my dad was into real estate, really. So I'd say that's probably one of the main reasons. He did it. I was always around buildings and building sites to a degree, so I kind of like buildings anyway. I still do. I love buildings as a thing, as a physical thing. When you visit cities, you visit old towns, and you see what they've got. I'm still blown away by it. I love it. And I can get lost in the city for hours. I would love it. If you just dump me in a city, I can occupy myself for hours, just walk around, stop here, go and check this out, get culture trip up and wander around the streets, and I'm perfectly content.
Yeah.
You know, go to previous nations, go to old historical sites, dump myself in jungles and beaches and all that. I think that is the outside part of it. So real estate was kind of moving towards that, the business side of things. You know, I was decent at economics and things like that, so it kind of forced me to merge the two. But yeah, I never thought 13 I'd go and live in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Let alone say real estate, yeah, maybe. But aspiration-wise, I enjoy it. I still enjoy being around buildings. I enjoy being in Dubai. Do I want to do it forever? No, I don't think I do. No, I'm still building my career to a point that I want to just step away from corporate world.
Yeah.
I know that. I know I don't want to keep doing office work. I don't want to be a 55-year-old CEO driving a Mercedes to it. I don't. I've got no aspiration to do that. If someone said to me, what do you want? I said, I'd love to have a couple of businesses that afford me to do a more rural life. You know, a farm, you know, hosteling, things like this. I'd rather be doing that so I'm not sat at the desk. I don't want to manage people. You know, I enjoy it now, but in 10, 15 years' time, I don't want to still have to worry about it. You know,
Yeah.
I just want to enjoy my life.
You want to be your own boss. You want to manage your own time.
My own time, the freedom. You know, the biggest thing, you know, at the moment, I see the career as an enabler to do a bit later in life. But I don't want to be enabled that at 55, I can do what I want. You know, great, 55 isn't that old, but it's not in your late 30s or your 40s. You know, you're still physically able, mentally completely capable, and you want to go and travel and do all that. I think that freedom side of things is why we still do what we do at the moment, to build up to that point. Maybe a bit different from other people's situations that, you know, I don't have kids, I don't have the schooling, I don't have that responsibility to worry about at the same time as well.
Yeah.
I think when people get to that point in life, suddenly everything changes. You know, I see it amongst a lot of my friends that, you know, okay, it's all great that you want to go off and do the traveling or you want to do this, but, you know, as soon as you throw a couple of kids in the mix, that's you for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know about you, I think I was financially free from my parents when I was about 21. So that was probably the last time they had to actually fund me for something.
Yeah.
So you think about that's 21 years, I was still on the purse strings of my parents.
Yeah.
You know, no wonder they couldn't wait for me to leave.
And the older you got, the more it was as well.
Yeah, because it wasn't just like, can I have £10 of this? It was like, can I have a car?
The last time I asked for money from my parents was when I first moved to the UAE. And I think we all know what it's like when we move to a new country. Money is tough because...
Tough to get excited.
Yeah, I
underestimated, because I was making my way 6 years ago. You know, I mean, I look back and I'm thinking, that guy knew nothing.
Nothing. No one tells you. No
I
one
was
prepares
24
you.
years old. I knew nothing. I remember walking out the airport and it was literally like someone had smashed me in the face with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
23rd of August. Bang!
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm here. No one to tell you what to do.
Why is it so hot and it's 10 o'clock at night? Like,
And it's like expensive to do stuff here.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to get
that is
wrapped.
getting better though, isn't it?
It is. It's up to you. It's down to you. And people say it's expensive. That's your decision to make it expensive.
Yeah.
If you want to go to restaurants every day, you want to order your food every day, you want to drive a flash car, that's your personal choice. If you want to go and shop at a supermarket and make your own meals and drive a normal, sensible car, you can just get the e-cars. You don't need them. It's your decision to make it as expensive as you want.
Yeah.
And so many people stay and hide behind it going, oh, it's expensive. It is, but it's not as much as you think. You've enabled it to be that expensive because you kept raising
That's the lifestyle you live.
You kept raising your lifestyle.
And I like to sometimes, like last weekend I went to Nazareth, but I wanted to go.
You want to go. Don't deny yourself it.
Yeah.
Don't deny yourself these things. If you can afford it, you want to do it.
But then the next day I went for breakfast on a buy one, get one free on the Entertainer. You know? And it's just, I was just like, this is amazing. I spent
We've all
70
done
dirhams.
it. I'm sure, not all. A lot of us have done it. I've gone and dropped 1,500 dirhams on a meal somewhere. And then I've gone somewhere else the following week and spent 200 dirhams. I didn't enjoy either of them anymore because of the price. I probably enjoyed it for what it was. The experience, the food, the company. You know, that's what it is. Just because I'm sat in a 5-star hotel paying through the nose for stuff doesn't make it any more enjoyable than sat down by the beach and I've just paid 20 dirhams to go and get a sandwich and a shawarma or something like that. This is what people kind of don't get.
Yeah.
You know, it's been portrayed here as an expensive, glamorous place. It is, and it can be, but it doesn't have to be by a long shot.
Yeah.
Again, you said it earlier, it's balance. You know, if we go out this weekend, I'm going out for dinner later on to a decent place, okay, then the rest of the weekend I'll probably cook at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I choose to eat
So
out,
many people don't do that, do they?
no, it's just, I'll order this, I'll order that, I'll go out, okay. And I think this again, coming back to the COVID and working from home, it made me realize, I was like, I was getting breakfast out, I was getting lunch out, I was getting 2 or 3 coffees a day out. Next thing you know, I totaled it up, I was doing like 700-800 dirhams. And I was like, that's nuts. Why am I spending that amount of stuff? Just because it's convenience.
Yeah.
Purely convenience is what it was.
Yeah.
As soon as you take that away, you're suddenly like, I don't need to do that. I don't get any more enjoyment out of it. Do I get more enjoyment of making my own breakfast and my own lunch? Probably get more enjoyment from doing that.
Man, I love it.
And you're controlling what you're having. You like fitness, you're into your healthy lifestyle, you're aware of what you're putting on your plate a bit more. You go out to a restaurant, I'm going to eat healthy, I'll have a sandwich, I was like, oh, you know what? I'll have a burger and fries instead, you know what? Tomorrow I'll have a salad.
Do you know what? That's one thing that I'm really proud of myself because I've actually been able to stop that now completely.
It's good.
And I literally will go into a restaurant and I'll just pick what I consider as the considerable, the healthy option because
But do you do that because you're telling yourself it's the right thing to do, or do you do it because you enjoy it the most? Or you're doing it?
No, I do, mate. I do. I mean, one of the things I think I'm very fortunate for because I was a chef in my previous life.
Yeah.
Is
So you know what food is.
I don't hate any food.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. If you put something on the plate in front of me, if you said, "Danny, I'm going to cook you dinner tonight," but I'm not telling you what it is. I
Yeah.
can guarantee you, I would finish that plate.
Yeah.
There's not one thing in. I can't think of anything that I don't like.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
And that's good.
And-
You've been exposed to so many.
Yeah.
You've got the acquired taste, and you can appreciate everything.
Yeah.
We've all got the little things we don't like. I don't like cucumbers.
Do you not?
Mate,
Mate,
it's the most inoffensive thing in the world, but to me, and they put them in everything here, they put them in.
Complete random. I actually take cucumbers to work as snacks,
Yeah.
and I'll just
A
eat
lot
a
of people
cucumber at
do.
my desk.
Yeah, and to me it's offensive. It just annoys me when I have a sandwich and it's like, you didn't tell me it was in this. And I
Tuna and cucumber, you don't like that?
No.
Mate,
Yeah. But it's what you get used to, isn't it?
it's funny, isn't it?
It's
It's,
funny
again,
what you
it's
get
going back
used
to
to.
the shopping trends,
Yeah.
the eating trends.
Yeah, it's all a trend, but yeah, it's funny what you do and don't like.
Yeah, but now I've been talking all professionally, but really what I'm trying to break it down to is the career break. you
Career break. Yeah,
Because
sure.
when we actually met for a coffee, and
Did I meet you before? I think I must have known you before I left.
Yeah. We met just before, because remember, I'd actually just joined the construction. We played golf, didn't we?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, we did. You were
that
terrible.
was the first time I'd ever played around 18 holes.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, you left and then came back. And that's when you joined EMA. And I think that's when we really started to become a little bit more close friendship-wise. What made you want to do it?
So I'd been working at the time. So I'd done school, full on school. It was 8 till 5:30 every day, including Saturdays. I'd done that for 10 years, then straight into university. Then I did about 13 years of work. So I'd done all that straight through without, I'd had holidays. But you know, the longest in that period was probably maybe a month, 6 weeks. Sorry, I meant 6 weeks is the longest I'd had as a continuous holiday in that whole time.
Oh, wow.
In all that time. And that's a lot. You know, when you think you've done 13 years on work after university, and fine, university is not, let's not beat around the bush, it's not the hardest thing in the world to do. But I still hadn't traveled and seen stuff. And I was working, I was going to work, I quite enjoyed my job, I had a nice lifestyle. You know, a lot of my friends were here. And I just knew I was starting to get to the point where I was like, I'm not fussed. I just felt I was treading water, mainly in life. It's like, my job's solid, get well paid, I play golf, I have a couple of nice holidays. I like what it is, but I knew there's something else I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it'd been burning away at me to do some traveling, burning away in the back of my head. And then the thing that tripped me over really to do it was that my best friend said to me, he goes, do a SWOT analysis of your life. And I was like, what? And he was like, you know what a SWOT analysis is? I was like, of course I know what a SWOT analysis is. So do it with your life.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. So I went away, I got a piece of A4 paper and a pencil, and I just did this.
Mate, that sometimes when you write stuff down, that's the scariest thing.
It was scary. And then he said, and put 10 things, then put 10 important things in your life and rank them, like things you want out of life. So I did the SWOT analysis. I did this list of 10 things I wanted out of life. And it was the most obvious thing in the world was you want to travel. It was clear as day. So that was it. I literally then, I had it and made up my mind. I told my friends about 4 months before I was going to go. Then it got to a point where I was like, right, I need to give notice. I told my boss. He kind of looked at me like he didn't understand what I was doing. He was a GCC guy. He was like, what? Thank you very much. I've enjoyed working here, but I've decided to go traveling. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I'm going to go just travel. And he said, what, for a couple of months and then you'll come back? And I was like, no. I said, I don't know when I'm coming back. And he was like, okay, can I change your mind? I was like, no. I said, look, I've made my decision. This is all for this XYZ reason. It's a personal thing completely. Nothing about the company. I just want to go. So that was it. I started packing up my stuff. I got people to move into my apartment. I went and got jabs. I went and got obviously any visas and stuff I needed. I bought a backpack. I made a rough plan on like a piece of paper this big. And I just drew a map of South America. I was like, I'm going to land here. I'm going to go and travel around that. And then I'm going to see what happens. And I'd written off in my head.
You went alone?
On my own. Yeah, on my own. I was thinking at the time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's completely on my own. Wow. I didn't know anyone. So I was like, right. So I did it. Told my friends, had like a big leaving do here. And they were like, oh, you'll be back in 3 months. You'll be back in 3 months. And I was thinking, I don't think I will. And in my head, I'd written off a year. I was like, right, a year, I'm happy.
You travelled for a year?
In my head, I didn't travel for a year. I did 9 months. But in my head, I was like,
That's
I'm willing
incredible.
to commit to anyway a year. If it's a bit more, great. If it's a bit less, that's fine.
How much did it cost you?
So I put a decent budget aside of probably, I'm not saying, I put in my head, I put 100,000 dirhams for a year.
That's not a lot.
It's not a lot. It's 20,000 pounds. I didn't spend anywhere near that. And not even anywhere near it.
Are you kidding me?
Nowhere near it.
How much did you spend?
I reckon I was closer to half.
Oh my God. For 9 months?
For 9 months.
Wow.
For 9 months. And yeah, I stayed in hostels. But
It is cheap there though, isn't it?
Super cheap. You could live on £5, 20 dirhams a day.
Yeah.
In some places, 20 dirhams a day will get you accommodation and 2 meals. In some places. And Dan, I didn't cook any meals. You know, I'm gonna admit, I didn't carry around a bag of pasta and rice and ketchup. You know, I was eating out. I was trying all the cuisines. I was staying in private rooms in hostels for the most part. I stayed in Airbnbs in some occasions. I wasn't in a 20-man dormitory listening to 20 people snoring every night. You know, I was in my 30s. I know I didn't really need to rough it, and I was fortunate that I had the money to not have to rough it.
Yeah.
But I still traveled by buses. I jumped on planes now and again. I went on a 5-day boat trip from Colombia to Panama.
Wow.
Yeah, and these things, they cost $300. $300 for your food and 5 days on the boat. That's not going to kill anyone to do that.
What was that like?
It was awesome. The first day was a bit rough on the sea, but apart from that, you woke up every morning and you just saw a new desert island. That's all we were doing.
The sea, the smell, just...
And some of the things that really stand out were, the big one was when I got on the plane. And I remember I'd gone from Dubai to Paris, then Paris to Bogota in Colombia. And it only really hit me when I was on the flight from Paris, and I was like, I've left all my friends, I've left all my job, I don't know where I'm going, I've got no idea who I'm going to go and stay with when I land in this country. And then I did a bit of a wave of what is going on? And then as soon as I was like, but that's amazing, it's you've got anything can happen over the next however long. And that was a great feeling.
Yeah.
And then one of the other feelings was, as you can say, as anybody who's worked for a long time, 10, 15, 20 years will know, that feeling after about the second day of there's no emails, there's no phone calls, there's no messages, there's nothing you have to worry about except enjoying yourself. No, the biggest decision I had to make each day was what colour clothes to put on. That was the biggest decision I would have to make. Okay, put my t-shirt on, then I would walk out the door and go and look around the city. And you said I was on my own. You said that first thing, you went on your own. I did. I reckon of that 9-month period, I was probably on my own for less than 2 weeks. I was always...
You just met people when you were there?
Always met people. And it was unnerving. I can still remember it. It was the third day I was in Colombia.
Yeah.
And I walked out of the hostel. I walked into the hostel. I put my bag down, and I kind of looked at myself in the mirror, and I was like, "You need some friends. You need to meet people." So I was like, "Right, fine." So I just walked into the bar. There's a guy there ordering some drinks, and I literally went, "Hi, I'm James. I've just arrived. Can I join?" And he went, "Yeah, of course. Yeah, come sit down."
Where was he from?
Australian.
Okay.
Australian guy. So I sat down at this table, and there were 6 of us around this table. And obviously it's the same conversation you have quite a lot. Where are you from? Da 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 da. And it was weird that we were all in our 30s, and all of us, there was two of them were doctors. One was a fine arts guy from London.
I think I remember you telling me, because you actually spent a lot of time with these guys, right?
Yeah, I spent loads of time with. And they'd all had the same thing of I just had enough of 10 years of working. So I've taken 6, 3 months, 9 months, however long. And we're all just of the same thing, just want to get out, go for a while. It was and as soon as you kind of broke the back of that introduction, you had no qualms doing it wherever you went. And obviously most people, they always want to travel. You feel a little bit of comfort with somebody. So while I was away for that 9 months, as I did 6 months South America, pretty much went all around, about 7 or 8 of the countries I did.
What was the best place you travelled to in South America?
The best singular country would be Colombia. I think.
Why was that?
I think the people are super friendly. It's still a little bit more of the unknown compared to your Chile, your Argentina.
So people are actually quite friendly there then?
Super friendly. They still think you're a gringo. You still stick out like a sore thumb in some places. Yeah. But they're welcoming. They know you're just there to see their country and experience it. They still find it funny the way we do things. They laugh at us when we give some of their food and things like that. But they're nice people, they're friendly people. And they want to, but the big thing then is they want to learn about you. They've never left their country. Imagine that you've never left your country and you're 30 years old, you've never left. The most you've done is go from Dubai to Abu Dhabi, Ras Al Khaimah. That's the most you've ever done.
Wow.
You've got some guy who's turned up, he's English. So
he's on his own.
He's on his own, so they can understand you being English. Then you're trying to explain that you lived in the Middle East, and most of them seem to know Iraq. They go Iraq. Dubai, few would know. A lot of them know Iraq. I think sadly because of the wars and the TV, they know that. So then you tell them you lived there for 10, 15 years, they look at you like you're an alien, and then you tell them that you left a safe job to come to South America just because. And they're like, why? Yeah. They're like, I work every day just to get some food, some money to pay for food for my family. I could not just decide to quit and disappear off.
Yeah, when I went to South America for only 2.5 weeks, but still it was a life-changing experience for me. And especially from Brazil, not so much, but Bolivia. Bolivia. I mean, we went to the same place actually, because you've been to the salt flats.
Yeah.
Salar de Uyuni.
Yeah.
Mate, that
it's
place,
unreal.
That it's like going back to the 60s.
It's unreal. But then, as you said, the Bolivian salt flats, as you got on it, I would say up there with the best, or one of the best places I've seen ever.
Yeah.
Like you cannot.
Did you go when it was raining season?
Yeah, we went in rainy season.
Okay. I went when it wasn't raining.
No,
but
so
the salt flats just like it's like a
like
mirror,
glass.
isn't
There's
it?
a picture there, right behind you. Yeah, that picture right there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that is literally like you're driving on a mirror, but not just 10 minutes, for hours, 2-3 hours
I know,
of
yeah.
driving,
I know.
and it is just like glass.
Yeah.
And we did that. You stayed in like some old like
That's what I couldn't get my head around when I was driving on it, and we were just going and going and going. It took 3 hours to get. Did you go to the central part of all the flags?
Yes.
And I was like, how is? But isn't it something like 100,000 square kilometre?
It's mad.
It's huge.
It's huge. It's an old sea. You know, the sea, essentially it was an inland sea. And then
Obviously
the
land's right.
geography and all the tectonic plates that pushed it all the way up, and all the water's drained, but left like just this huge crust of salt. And as soon as it rains, you get this beautiful.
Oh mate, it was such a good. Did you go into we got taken up into a volcano as well?
Yeah, we did the volcano.
How did you feel?
It was just weird when they give you a mask, and you know, like, we come from Europe.
You're lucky, mate. We didn't get a mask.
And we got the mask, but they were like, "This is
With the
dangerous."
oxygen.
Yeah, they said, "Look, this is dangerous." I said, "You can only do like a few minutes up here, then you need to go." You know, the sulfur and the gases and things like this, you can't stay here. I know the health and safety. We come from Europe, where you can't even like undo your shoes or like a health and safety permit. There, it was like, yeah, okay, just put this on. Some places were better than others, but it was like a case of, okay, here's like a mask that we wear at the moment.
Did the oxygen help you with like altitude sickness?
We didn't have oxygen. It was just purely a mask for the gases.
Ah, okay.
But you could still, like, your eyes would sting and water. I know, it was nuts. Yeah, you stood over a volcano, and like down there, like 20 meters, is the lava, and you're just stood on the top of it.
Yeah.
Going, this is crazy.
Yeah, I suffered really bad from altitude sickness.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
The headaches.
Yeah,
It's tough.
And even a few people that we went with, like, literally got out the car and was like, smelled the
Yeah,
sulfur
yeah.
and was like,
Yeah, they'd be
threw up
sick. A
everywhere.
few of them. It was all right on the way up, but some people got up when they were coming back down.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was always rough. It was the headache, but they give you the coca leaves to chew on. So
Yeah.
you chew on those, and you're okay.
If you chew on enough of them, your mouth just like.
You go numb. It goes numb. Yeah. But so yeah, I loved it. And so where else was it? Probably Patagonia.
Did you go to Machu Picchu?
Did Machu Picchu? Did a 4-day trek into Machu Picchu.
Did you like that?
It was amazing. The trek in was really good because it was only like a group of 15 of us, like walking for 3-4 days to get there. And then Machu Picchu, you get there, you get up super early so you can be there at the front, and when the gates open, you're there. And the kind of the mystical bit about it was, you know, when all the fog in the morning started to burn off. So when you first get there, you can't see anything.
Yeah.
It's so cloudy, you can't see much. As soon as then the sun comes up, it starts burning it away, and then it does reveal itself, and it's amazing. But busloads of tourists arrive. Busload after busload after busload. You know, we've walked 4 days to get in, you know, we feel we've deserved to see this. And then you've got 50 tourists just getting trucked in, dumped, get a chocolate muffin at the gate, get a can of Coke at the gate, walk around half interested, get the famous Instagram picture.
Did you
and
go up
leave.
to the Sun Gate as well?
I did the Sun Gate all the way up to the top, yeah.
Yeah, we went to the Sun Gate, and that was that was really impressive because.
You're probably away from it a bit then as well.
Yeah. Got away from it, and then but it was also raining.
Oh wow.
So like looking down on Machu
Yeah.
Picchu, and the cold rain, like, and obviously being in Dubai, and obviously I didn't go for 9 months.
Yeah,
I went
yeah.
for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So you like go from hot weather to nice, cool, cold rain. It was just like
The contrast is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an incredible place to see.
Yeah.
It is. But you get that sense of like, there's so many people here. And
Yeah.
it does detract from it when it's a crowd of people.
Well, that's the problem when it's.
Yeah, it is. It's something that amazing. Whereas the salt flats wasn't. You know, there was 10, 15 cars, but as soon as they started driving away, you felt you were on your own. And that gave you a sense of the scale of it.
Yeah. So you spent 9. Okay, so after all that, you obviously Colombia is one of your favourite places.
One of the favourites, yeah. Patagonia as like a landscape in itself was
Did
incredible.
you go down to what's the most southern part of South America? In Argentina, what they call it?
Patagonia.
Yeah.
Patagonia's that's the bit you can literally. I went to the airport at the end, and there were 3 check-in counters, one to Argentina, one to Chile, and one to the Antarctica. And I was like, that's mad. Like,
One to Antarctica.
I wanted to tell you, like, that's mad. Like, Antarctica Airways, this one. You're like, what?
Antarctica Airways that way.
Yeah, so there's like I think it's Fort William, I think it is, and that's like the first outpost down there that you can fly to. And I was like, that's nuts. Yeah.
But at one point, was you like,
maybe? But then I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't even know you could do it until I got all the way down. And now I'm like, well, next time, next time we'll go back down there. We'll just jump across the flight.
What's it like there? Because it's obviously
it's just remote. It's not that barren. Depends what time of year you go. I was there probably February, which is still in the decent season to go. Which is obviously you flip it around to the hemisphere, it's their summer-ish. So no, it was all right. You know, we were walking, it'd be like 20 degrees, pleasant. You still have to wrap up a bit at night. But yeah, it's quite bleak, you know, when you're driving down there to get back to the airport, and it's just, you see like a ranch, and then there is nothing for miles and miles and miles and miles. And you're just thinking, you know, living here will be insane. It's just,
I got that driving through Bolivia. I got that feeling driving through Bolivia and thinking, there's so many populated places where there's too many people, and you've got
things like this where there's nothing.
There's nothing. Just bring these people here.
Yeah, you think that Argentina, when we were in Argentina looking around, and they even said they've got one of the biggest land masses as a country, but there are only like 40 million people. And the guy even joked saying they need more people. Like saying, you can come in, give me a British passport, and I'll swap you for an Argentinian one. Welcome, you can set up. Saying they just have like, everyone lives kind of in Buenos Aires. There's a massive, something crazy like 30, 40 or 50% maybe of Argentinians live in Buenos Aires, or the Buenos Aires district. Then the rest of it is just sporadic around the coast and down the south. Yeah. And that's like insane. Like, what? Yeah. Interesting place. South America's an amazing place.
How did you feel when you came back?
Well, I did South America, then I swung around to Far East. So I saw some friends in Hong Kong, stayed in Bali for about 6 weeks.
Which way did you go though?
I went this way, then I went to LA. So after South America, I went to LA, then LA round to Taiwan, then Taiwan to Hong Kong.
So you flew over the Pacific, yeah?
Flew Pacific way, so going back the opposite way, going the other way. Then I saw some friends in Hong Kong. I went to Korea. I did like 4 or 5 weeks in Bali because I just wanted to stop. After 7 months, I was kind of like, I'm done with packing up every 2-3 days. Yeah. Because it was like that at times. You're like, 2 days here, pack up and move. 3 days here, pack up and move. Now and again, you're like, right, there's a beach. Let's just stay here for 5 days. We'll stay and do 5 days at the beach. Cool. So then when I got around to that side of it, I was like, do I want to travel through Asia? And I'd seen it before, quite a lot of it anyway. So I didn't have it in me to go and do Laos, Cambodia and all that. I've done some of it. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to Bali. It's super cheap. I'll stay there. And I just stayed in Bali for like 4 or 5 weeks. I reminded myself what the gym was. I remember it was just to like get into a routine. So I had 4 weeks of like, right, I did like a creative writing course. I did some online studying. I got my head back into the mind of traveling's out of my system for a while. Yeah. I've scratched the itch. I've done it. I just didn't have the urge to be like, I'm going somewhere else and carrying on exploring for a while. So I was like, what I'll do is then, I said, look, I'll go back to Dubai because essentially my friends and a lot of my belongings were here anyway. I still had all my bank accounts and things here. So I came back to Dubai. You know, it's a bit strange. Like, you know, you come back and you're like the flavour of the month for 2 weeks with your friends. You know, there's that weird honeymoon period of everyone wants to see you, everyone wants to say hello to you. 2 weeks, it disappeared. And the thing that hit me as well was how everything is so planned. Yeah. Danny, I'll see you in 3 weeks for dinner. I'm playing golf in 10 days' time. I've got a meeting tomorrow. I've got a meeting then. I've got this in 3 weeks. Your life is planned. Whereas I'd just gone from, I wouldn't even know where I was going the next day. Wouldn't know I was going to be in a week. Certainly wouldn't know I was going to be in a week. Might have an idea where I might be in 2 days' time, but I didn't know what I'd be doing in those days. Yeah. And it was that strange thing of like, I don't like being told or having to be somewhere at a certain time. And that was a weird situation of coming back. And then I told myself, look, give yourself 3 months to get a job. If you don't get a job, I'll go to Europe. Yeah. I'll go either back home or I'll go travel in Europe. Because I still had a decent amount of money left over from what I'd put aside.
I can't believe you went away for 9 months and only spent in the region of 50,000 dirhams.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Yeah, and I didn't scrimp. You know, I wasn't extravagant. You know, I didn't buy anything. You know, I lived with 1 pair of shorts, a pair of jeans, 2 pairs of trainers, and I replaced t-shirts as I went. That was it. So you go from a wardrobe full of stuff to
not much.
No, yeah, and you realise you don't need a lot. It's quite surprising. And even now, on the back of that, don't buy a lot of things. You know, like I'll buy like work stuff. I'll buy a pair of jeans now and again maybe, but I don't buy the materialistic stuff. You know, I won't be shopping in malls. I don't go and order loads of stuff online now and again. And it's quite surprising it kind of changed your mindset. You know, people don't essentially care. It's nice for you to do it, but you quickly realize people don't really care. You can have the latest thing on. You can change your outfit. You can always be wearing something different. People don't really care. You like to think they do, but they don't essentially. They care about themselves most of it. So then I came back and I was like, right, try and get a job. I gave myself a 3-month window. And literally 10 days before, I was having in my mind saying, I can't get a job, I'll go. I got a job. Then I got a job and I was like, fine, is what it is. Fate stepped in and said, you're staying here. And that was what, 4 years? I actually got reminded it was September 16 I left.
Wow.
And now I've been back 4 years and that's gone fast. Yeah, it's gone fast.
That's crazy because you've been back 4 years, and I mean, I've been here 6.
Yeah.
My whole, well, in 4 days.
The anniversary.
6 years,
yeah, it's crazy how time goes, and I think, you know, it makes you realize how fast it does go. And I wrote an article recently about doing a career break, and I'm a massive advocate for it. And the one thing I sort of said is some people said certain things stuck out to them, and the one thing that was someone said, it's like if you look at it as a numbers game, people like numbers. If you take a year out of your working life, you could be looking at it's maybe 3%, probably less than 3% of your working life. If you work from say 20 to 60.
Too many people are scared though.
Scared of it. There's so many reservations. What ifs. You get hit by a bus. You could get struck down by something you don't know you've got in you. Anything can happen. Why can't you take a bit of time out to go and do it?
Mate, I literally put on my Instagram stories yesterday because I've been following that David Goggins recently. I'm surprised not many people know who he is, but I'll send you a link for the video that I've watched because honestly what I listen to his 10-minute clip every day, and what he's made me realise is that I've got a better life than most. Mate,
if you've got running water, a clean car, medical and a job, you're doing better than 90% of the world.
Yeah.
The world.
Exactly.
That's mad when you break it down to that.
But I've realised that, you know, there is so much more, that I'm such a fortunate person to be in the position that I am, that I can actually use what I'm doing to do more.
Yeah.
And
for you and for others.
Like, and one of the things that he talks about in his video is what's on the other side of fear. And so many people have said it. Will Smith said it about his skydive here.
Yeah.
David Goggins talks about what's on the other side of fear.
Yeah.
And it's true, because when I started doing live mic shows and road shows and stuff,
it's put a bit of fear.
I didn't have any experience. I just, you know me, I'm one of those guys that will just throw myself into anything and just deal with the consequences when I'm there. Yeah. And when I got approached by Virgin Radio, they said, yeah, do you want to do a road show? I was like, yeah, sounds cool, blah, blah, blah. It's just basically you've got to talk on a mic for 2 hours and basically create an on-the-go show.
Yes.
There's not much preparation. We'll give you bullet points, but it's down to you to plan and create an event. Okay, cool. So I turned up, and the first one and they were like, right, okay, so it's like a film premiere, not like with celebrities, just the first showing of a film. So a lot of people going to this film are going to be like super hyped about the film.
Okay.
So you've got to make sure that you research the brand and everything.
Yeah, you know,
I got the brief in the morning. I had a full day of work, and then I was going straight after work. And he's like, but don't worry, it's fine. You can just speak to the co-presenter and just, you know, plan a show with them. Yeah. Mate, 15 minutes before, hey Danny, just to let you know, Storm can't make it, so you're going to be on your own. And I was like, and good job I'd prepared, because I actually had some meetings in Abu Dhabi with a colleague, and I was like, right, this is happening tonight, so on the way to Abu Dhabi, let's prepare, And I got there, and I said to God, James, I was a nervous wreck. Honestly, my armpits were I was walking around and I could smell myself. This is not pleasant. And
but it's that fear of stepping. It doesn't. You don't know. And everyone's like, whoa.
These people were walking in, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to survive this. What if I do this? What if I do that? And all these thoughts, mate. The second I opened my mouth, it was like peace. It was almost like
zoned in, and I think
it's like a path into another life, and it was just like this calm Danny that interacted with the crowd and got people laughing, and you know.
There you go.
And
people surprise themselves when they do something.
But the moral of the story is, so many people build up to the point of being scared of heights or whatever it may be,
and comfort.
Yeah,
it's a huge thing of security.
When
and
you come
comfort.
outside that zone, your comfort zone. You find so many different areas of your life, and I think you know, I mean, you know me very well, and we're kind of the same sort of people in terms of ambition and what we want to do, and we'll always throw ourselves
You
into
realise there is more. You appreciate you have a comfortable life, but then you also know you don't want to just live in that comfort.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to do.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do it. But then don't disregard that comfort. Some people have strived so hard to get where they are. As we said, there are people who would swap places with you in a second.
Yeah, I know.
Within a second.
Yeah.
So you have to take a step back now and again. And this whole COVID and people going, oh, it's so bad, it's so bad, it's so bad. What's so bad? You're in a house, you have food, you have a job. Fine, you might be on 30, 40% less pay, but you still have a job. You have medical care.
Yeah, some people have just been left hung up to dry.
High and dry and gone with families and kids. And that's here, that's everywhere. Everyone's got friends, or everybody knows someone who had it awful. But you still shouldn't be afraid or unwilling to step away from that if you think you can find something that's better, more exciting, that could lead to something unbelievable for you.
Yeah, the good old saying, everybody dies, not everybody lives.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I said to a friend, and he goes, I read your article about traveling. And I said, look, one of the reasons some people don't always do what they want is because the people they speak to about it don't give them the best advice.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to get an opinion on something, ask a stranger. Find someone to talk to who doesn't know you, spill it out to them and let them give a take on it. Because I bet if you go and speak to your family, your close friends or colleagues, they probably won't have your very best interest at heart, or not 100%. Because they might like, if you came and said to me, I'm going to go traveling, part of me will think, oh, maybe it's not suited for him, or oh, I don't really want Danny to go, I like Danny being around, or oh, Danny's quite good for my job, he's useful to have about. I'm not thinking, do it, because I might have that slight reservation that, oh, it's not what I want for him, it's not what I want for me. Your family will be worried about you. So I always think it's useful to speak to different people. Even if you don't know them much, get engaged in a random conversation. You go and play golf on your own and get paired with a random guy.
Yeah.
You don't know who you're going to get paired with. And I remember one of the best stories was I was teed up, turned up for golf, and you don't know who you're going to get turned up with. And there was no one. I was like, result, I haven't got to talk to anybody today. This guy comes flying around, an American guy, hey man. And I was like, I've got 4 hours to spend with this guy. I was like, this is going to be torturous. So anyway, we start playing. He turned out to be in the 2nd SEAL team that did the Osama bin Laden raid.
Are you kidding?
He was the team SWAT medic, the SEAL team medic for the 2nd SEAL team that went into the Osama bin Laden raid. And I was like, what? And like by the end of these 4 hours, I was like in awe of the guy. He was like, I've done some pretty sneaky stuff, man. He goes, I was in there for 12 years, And I was like, what? And I judged him in the second he turned up, this loud American guy, sorry. Next I talked to him in depth, where I come from, where he come from, why I was here. And I just, I had to give him the benefit of the doubt straight away, but I'd already judged him as well when he came in. I was like, oh, it's going to be like some loudmouth American that's going to talk rubbish to me the whole day.
Yeah.
And it just surprised me. And then also just getting his perspective, and also when he sort of said a few things to me about his current situation, like he's estranged from his wife, his kid was in America, he goes, he's only doing this for the time being, this job, so he can go back there, it's not what he wanted. It's quite cool to get that and give a bit of perspective to other people, but also get their perspective as someone who doesn't know you from Adam. And that was cool. I enjoy that kind of thing.
So, would you ever do travelling again?
Yeah, I will.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I'm sure I will. It does not even, I want to keep where I am for a while, but me and my girlfriend, we're planning on going. We already have half an idea where we want to go at some point in time.
Whereabouts would you go?
We want to see Alaska.
Nice.
Yeah, see Alaska for sure. I would like to see some of the States, but then also Europe. I think we disregard it because we come from Europe. Europe's got so much to see, and I've never seen any of the Nordic states. None of it. Iceland, none of it. Russia, huge country, seen none of it.
You will need more money though.
But I think Europe I will. Yeah.
Iceland is so expensive.
So expensive. I think, okay, maybe you don't go for 9 months, maybe you do 6. And also Africa. Africa's the one that I still have that slight reservation of going traveling as like just a single white guy. I think that could be harder.
Yeah.
I want to be proven wrong and I will go, but that's one of the ones that I'd also like to see, like the wildlife
and
there.
It is dangerous.
In places, you do hear some bad stories.
There's a guy in my gym from Nigeria, and we were chatting at rain. He was like, mate, he's like, you're talking about knife crime in England. I'm from Nigeria.
Yeah.
He's like, forget knife crime. He's like, you'll get literally just, if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, bang, gone.
Yeah,
that's it.
So that, when you hear these things, that does put you off. Should it stop you? Probably not.
No,
but just
because you just need to make sure that you go to the right place. I've travelled to Africa a few times. 3 times I've been now.
Yeah,
and
a couple of times. I never.
You just need to make sure that you go to the right places. And I mean, like,
you see a situation, you see a bad situation, you get away from it fast.
My old housemate, when I first moved here, I lived with a group of lads, and there was a lad that lived with Stevie. His dad is an absolute legend, and he travels to the craziest places in the world. He went on a 2-week holiday to Somalia. He loved it. He loved it. He had close protection with him, like a local guy.
Wow.
Because basically, when you're at the airport, they don't let you leave unless you've got protection. So you have to pay for protection, and then they come with you everywhere. And he'd already arranged it and everything, but he was like, when you've got people with you, you're fine, because you've got 2-3 people holding these AK-47s.
But still,
no one messes
with you. Is that how do you want to travel with 2 guys with AK-47s? They probably don't. I'll take my chances in Spain and Russia and Italy, thanks.
I wouldn't go for 2 weeks. I'd only go for maybe 1.
No.
But no, there are parts of it, and like Kenya, I actually wanted to go and see the migration this year, but obviously with the restrictions and stuff. But that's another place I'd love to go.
The safaris and all that, I think that is something that we need to go into. That people need to see. Yeah.
So, I'm not going to ask you the questions that I ask everyone, but a question I will ask you is, if this was your last day on Earth...
That's hard, yeah, right.
If this was your last day on Earth, would you say, yes, I've done everything I wanted to do, or no, I could have done more?
No, I could have done more.
Yeah.
Definitely. And that's, if you sad to admit that, but definitely.
Yeah.
There's definitely certain things, as we said, I could go tomorrow. I've got the means and whatever to go tomorrow, but will I? No. But yeah, I don't want to be sat there in 5 years and you ask me that question and I'm like, oh, you asked me that question 5 years ago and I've done a couple of things. I want to be able to have the conversation with you in 2 years going, I've done all this stuff. Yeah, that's really hard. And I think so many people will suddenly wind up staring down the barrel of family life, can't leave my job, all that. And if you want that, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine.
Do you know what I loved about it? Because I mean, again, we're obviously friends outside of this, so you know what I'm like on social media. I'm very active.
Yeah.
And a lot of people usually interact with stuff that I put online in terms of, if I ask a question, a lot of people will vote.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember once when I posted about a T-shirt, for instance.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yes or no? Mate, I had about 350 people say yes or no.
Yeah.
The same question that I just asked you yesterday.
Yeah.
Because again, listening to this David Goggett, mate, this guy's changed my life, honestly. He's given me this
he's
given me the 7th gear, but I actually put that question. I said, if you were to die tomorrow, would you have said yes? Would it be yes, I've done everything that I wanted to do in life, or no, I could have done more? And the funny thing is 5 people either clicked yes or no. And it just goes to show the way that
people don't want to admit that.
Exactly. People are happy to say, yeah, that T-shirt looks good on you, or no, it doesn't. Don't get it.
But to put themselves out there, and admit something.
And it's crazy. It's crazy, and it's good to see how people behave, because you're like,
that's social media to a T, though.
And also, I actually messaged the people that said, yeah, I've done everything I wanted to do, and I'm like, are you sure? Because it's also, I mean, they might feel content. That's a complete thing, because it's all about their life.
Maybe.
If you, like you say, if you did the SWOT analysis on your life, could you wholeheartedly say, I mean, for me at the age of 30, I've done a lot of things my friends wouldn't have done.
Yeah.
But I can say that there's so much in my life that I want to do now between 30 and 40.
Yeah. And write them down and do them. Like I've even said to people before, I said, oh, we're getting married, or we're just married, or we want to have kids. And I was like, that's cool. I said, why don't you write down 10 things that both of you want to do before you do that? And tick off as many as you can. Yeah, it's a good idea. And next, you had a kid and you've not done any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's leave this on a final note.
Yeah, man.
If you could give advice to... When did you move here?
12 years ago.
Okay, and you are, how old are you now?
38. Just turned 38 2 weeks ago.
Okay. So if you could give yourself some advice prior to moving to the Middle East, what would it be?
Prior to moving to the Middle East? Sadly, I would probably say to the person who moved then is, don't spend as much as you did on materialistic things.
Yeah.
I got wrapped up in it. I spent money on stuff that ultimately didn't bring me any additional happiness. I would say that, and use that money to do better things. travel, help other people, things like that. Very easy to get wrapped up in the materialistic world. And not just here, but I know I did it. And I just think, wow, I spent a lot of money that I could have used for better purposes. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, James.
So got me to where I am today, so I don't regret it. It's good.
Yeah. No, it's been great chatting with
fun.
you. I can't wait to share this with everyone. This is going to be cool. Sorry, the sun's coming in my eyes now. But no, thanks very much.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for listening.
Thanks. Have a good weekend.
For the podcast. We've actually got to get to work now, haven't we?
Yes, we do. We do.
So peace out everyone. Have a great weekend. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week.
Thanks so much.
Oh, that was good.